Today I want to talk to you about some important signs that show us when God doesn't want us to be with someone, or want someone in our lives. Sign number 1, a misalignment of values. When our values, beliefs, or priorities consistently clash with those of the person we are considering a relationship or a friendship with, it may suggest that we are not compatible in a way that aligns with God's plan for our lives. You see, God has a specific plan and purpose for each one of us. He desires that we walk in His ways and honor Him in everything we do, including our friends and relationships. Light and darkness cannot fellowship together, as the Bible tells us in 2 Corinthians 6 verse 14. If our values are rooted in Christ, it is important to seek out people who also share those same beliefs. If we find ourselves compromising our beliefs or being tempted to compromise our moral standards, it is a clear sign that the person we are pursuing may not be in line with God's will for us. Even if it's just a simple friendship, if we find ourselves compromising our beliefs or being tempted to compromise our moral standards, it is a clear sign that that person is not sent from God. God will never send someone into our lives who leads us down a path of sin and disobedience. Our values shape who we are and how we live our lives. They guide our decisions, actions, and priorities. If our values consistently clash with someone else's, it becomes difficult to build a strong foundation of unity and harmony in a relationship or a friendship. The cold, hard truth is that in the lives of the people listening to me today, there are individuals they need to cut off. That is the undeniable reality. When I was born again, my life underwent significant changes. Various aspects of my life transformed. I no longer associated with the same group of friends I used to have. This shift occurred because my priorities changed, and the things that were important to me shifted. The things I valued and loved changed. Why did it change? It was because I was born again. I placed my faith in Jesus Christ and I repented from my previous ways. Meanwhile, my old friends continued to dwell in darkness. They still embraced their sinful lifestyles and attempted to lure me into participating in their dark activities. In 1 Corinthians 15 verse 33, we are reminded that bad company corrupts good character. If our values are constantly at odds with the person we are considering a relationship with, we must take a step back and evaluate the situation. We need to seek God's wisdom and guidance, and surround ourselves with godly counsel from trusted mentors or spiritual leaders. The quote, "When you dance with the devil, you don't change the devil changes you," holds important lessons regarding the influence of bad friends and negative influences in our lives. In this context, the devil refers to individuals who lead us away from God's ways and tempt us to engage in actions or behaviors that are contrary to His will. These individuals can be friends, acquaintances, or even people we admire who have a negative impact on our values and beliefs. As Christians, we are called to surround ourselves with godly influences and to be mindful of the company we keep. The Bible tells us in 1 Corinthians 15 verse 33, "Do not be deceived, bad company ruins good morals." This means that spending time with people who have negative attitudes, engage in sinful behavior, or disregard God's commands can gradually influence and corrupt our own character. When we choose to dance, Metaphorically, with these negative influences, we risk being changed by their beliefs and actions. Their negative attitudes and behaviors can start to shape our own thoughts and actions, leading us away from God's truth and His plan for our lives. God calls us to be salt and light in the world, shining His love and truth into the lives of others. However, when we choose to associate ourselves closely with those who embrace darkness and oppose God's ways, we become vulnerable to their negative influence. We may find ourselves compromising our values, participating in sinful activities, and straying from the path of righteousness. When you dance with the devil, you don't change the devil. The devil changes you. Similarly, when you choose to surround yourself with individuals who engage in promiscuous behavior, laziness, recklessness, or embrace darkness, it is unlikely that you will change them. Instead, they have the potential to change or influence you. Associating with promiscuous individuals may lead you to compromise your own standards and engage in behaviors that contradict God's design for relationships and purity. Being around lazy people may discourage your own motivation and work ethic, hindering personal growth and productivity. Surrounding yourself with those who live recklessly can put your own safety and well-being at risk. Allow me to put this bluntly. There are people who have lost their lives due to wrong associations. Some individuals find themselves in prison today simply because they chose the wrong friendship group or life partner. It is astounding how much impact one friend or one person can have on the trajectory of your life. As parents, it is crucial to be intimately aware of every single one of your children's friends. It is essential to know who they are, what their personality is like, and what they believe in. The company our children keep can significantly shape their character, values, and future choices. As parents, we have a responsibility to guide and protect our children from harmful influences that may lead them astray. Wrong associations can lead to devastating consequences. Proverbs 13 verse 20 warns us, "Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm." When we surround ourselves with wise and godly individuals, we are more likely to grow in wisdom and make wise decisions. However, when we choose to associate with those who lack wisdom or embrace foolishness, we are susceptible to suffering harm and making poor choices. The influence of friendships extends beyond childhood and adolescence. As adults, the relationships we cultivate can still have a profound impact on our lives. Choosing the right life partner, for instance, is a decision that can shape our entire future. A spouse who shares our values, supports our faith, and encourages our growth in Christ is invaluable. Conversely, entering into a marriage or partnership with someone who does not align with our values can lead to immense heartache and spiritual struggles. Therefore, as believers, we must prioritize seeking godly companionship. This includes surrounding ourselves with individuals who share our faith, uphold godly values, and encourage us in our spiritual walk. It is crucial to seek friends who will challenge us to grow in our relationship with God, rather than drag us down into ungodliness. You need to understand Matthew 7 verse 13, "Enter ye in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. In the world we live in, the easiest thing to do is often the wrong thing to do. There are 1,000 ways to go to hell, but only one way to go to heaven. When you surround yourself with people who embrace darkness and sin, they normalize behavior that is contrary to God's will. They normalize actions that God despises and does not want you to partake in. And witnessing these behaviors changes you. Being around such behaviors desensitizes you to sin. This is the worst place for a Christian to be, desensitized to sin. Therefore, it is crucial for us as Christians to be discerning in our relationships and associations. We should seek out friendships and connections that are grounded in faith, where we can encourage one another in our walk with Christ. Proverbs 13 verse 20 reminds us, "Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm." When we recognize that certain friends or influences are leading us away from God, we must take steps to protect ourselves. This may involve setting boundaries, distancing ourselves from negative influences, and seeking positive, godly friendships that will encourage us in our faith. Ultimately, we should always strive to be influenced by God and His Word above all else. By regularly reading and meditating on the Bible, praying for guidance, and seeking fellowship with fellow believers, we can guard our hearts and minds against the negative influence of the devil in the form of bad friends and harmful influences. In conclusion, wrong associations can have severe consequences. It is important to be discerning in choosing our friendships and life partners, understanding that they can greatly influence our lives. As parents, it is vital to be actively involved in our children's lives, guiding them in their choice of friends, and providing a strong foundation of godly values. Let us seek wisdom from God and surround ourselves with those who will encourage us to walk in His ways, enabling us to live a life that brings glory to Him